Canelo and Crawford. As we approach this fight, what does it mean?
Well, I think this is a sensational fight, and it's no question going to be the biggest fight of the year. We've had the undisputed heavyweight championship, but I think that these are two guys now that are both in the top 10, that both have an argument to be number one. Crawford more so than Canelo, and there's history in the making, Willie, because we've had the four belt era, I would say, for a little more than 25 years, where you talk about the IBF, the WBA, the WBC, and the WBO. The WBO was the last one to be considered a major title, and that's been around for a little more than 25 years right now. Terence Crawford is bidding to become the first fighter in the four-belt era to be undisputed in three different weight classes. He was undisputed at 140 pounds, then he was undisputed at 147 pounds. So if you go to 168 and you do it, you are setting a standard that is all-time, right? That you're putting yourself up there with the greats in boxing. And I think he has the ability to do it. So to me, it's a really significant fight because of who is fighting and what is at stake in the bout.
Kevin, from kind of real boxing to car boxing real quick here. Jake Paul apparently has another fight coming with maybe Tank. I don't understand it. I'm just curious, what you think of this in general, his whole charade that he has going on. Maybe I'm kind of biased, but are you interested in Jake Paul fights at all? And do you even think that you even consider them real boxing matches?
No, it's a joke, right? I mean,
yeah.
He's fought guys that have no experience. And to be fair to him, the one thing I'll defend him on is, he is a guy that had no amateur boxing experience, and he's only had, now 10 or 11 pro fights. So, you see guys when they turn pro, they take a long time to get to the elite level. So we're not expecting him to be fighting, the Crawfords or the Canelos of the world or whatever, right? But we're expecting him to fight people that are boxers and that are roughly the same size as him. But what has he been fighting? He fought an NBA player. He fought a couple of rappers. He's fought mostly MMA fighters. Yeah. When the boxers that he's fought have been god awful up until this point. Tommy Fury being the best of them, and Tommy Fury beat him. And believe me when I tell you this, Tommy Fury stinks. As great as Tyson Fury was, Tommy Fury is awful. And Jake loses that. Now he's coming in November. He's going to fight Tank Davis. Tank Davis, when he fought Lamont Roach, was 133 5/8. Jake last November, when he fought Tyson, was 227 5/8. So now you're looking, he's fighting a guy 95 pounds lighter. What is this?
Kev, I need to ask you, because what they are, and here's the other thing, to sort of defend Paul, to a degree, he really does have this, I don't know how much he believes in novelty as much as he thinks he's really in the boxing realm. This dude trains like a boxer. He wants to be known as a boxer, so he's taking it serious. It's all of us that aren't taking him serious. But with that, in these bouts, when you see a guy like Manny Pacquiao come back, and then all of these outlandish potential matches, and the fact that he wants to keep going, is there really any difference? And I posed this question a couple of weeks ago to somebody on the show. At this point, when Pacquiao comes back and wants to keep coming back, and now we hear, maybe he can fight. Is there really any difference in terms of now they're just all novelty matches? And I don't mean Canelo-Crawford, but things like this?
The difference I was against Pacquiao coming back, and I was still working when he announced his comeback, and I wrote a column criticizing it. But at least when Pacquiao came back, he fought a elite fighter in his weight class. He fought a champion in his weight class. Jake Paul is not doing that, and Jake Paul's fighting, he fought a 58-year-old man. Then he fought Julio Cesar Chavez, who, his history and is a complete wreck. And now he's going to fight Tank Davis, who, fights at lightweight. Jake, I think I have given Jake a lot of credit for bringing attention to boxing and being a good promoter, and that's important. You know, the fight with Tyson that he put on, that did over 100 million homes on Netflix worldwide. That is an astronomical number, and boxing doesn't get that kind of viewership regularly, so great for him for doing that. And if you want to watch these joke fights, I guess God bless you. He is trying to be a real fighter, Willie, and he has real trainers, real coaches, and he's going hard. I would say, you know, the way I would rate him now is he's probably a cruiserweight, not really a heavyweight, so 200 pounds. And in that 200-pound, I would say, like, if you really fairly rated him, 40th or 50th in the world at this point. You know, if you put him up against the top guys at cruiserweight, they're going to destroy him. But, you know, he's going to be competitive with, you know, guys from 20 to 40. And given, you know, how late he started in boxing, hey, I give him credit for that. That's pretty good. Like, that's not easy to do. But you're insulting us with, you know, first fighting a 58-year-old man, now coming back and fighting a guy 100 pounds less. That's the problem with it, Willie. What is he selling?
Right.
You know, you make some great points, especially about the promotion with boxing, because growing up, like, Saturday nights and whatever, there's big fights, you know, you get together with your friends, you have parties. More and more as I grew up, it turned into MMA. People are doing that now on weekends with MMA fights, you know, whatever, UFC 500, whatever it is. Is there a way boxing could get back to that? Or is there a way boxing could become more popular again and kind of take over those weekends and have it again where there's these huge, I know there still are these things, but it's not like it used to be.
Well, no, it's not like it used to be. And you have it like for Canelo-Crawford, it's going to be massive. Now, that fight's going to be on Netflix. So
Sure.
If you have a Netflix subscription, you don't have to pay extra for it. So, you know, that'll be good, you know, for the public. I think the thing boxing has to do is they have to more, and it's never going to happen, right? But on
Right.
a regular basis, more often make the fights that the people want to see. What did Dana White and Lorenzo Fertitta do when they took over the UFC in 2001? Well, there was two things that they did. They kept the integrity of the title belts. You know, they didn't go out there and let the number 28 contender fight the champion, and they mostly made it. You know, it was logical fights. You know, there were times people disagreed on who got a title shot, but they made those fights, and then they made evenly matched fights up and down the card. So when they put the pay-per-views on, you knew, hey, even if I don't know who's on the undercard, I know I'm going to see, out of these 12 fights, I'm going to see 6 or 7 really good fights, and I might see some crazy knockouts. And boxing got away from that. They put in mismatch after mismatch, and you just look at the odds on some of the fights, and you'll see minus 1,200, minus 1,800, you know, and that's not conducive to knowing. Every once in a while you get a great fight, right? Somebody surprises, but over the long haul and over time, people got sick of it, paying a lot of money for not getting competitive fights. So Dana White's getting into promoting boxing. Hopefully, if he can sign some of the elite fighters, he'll be able to change that and go ahead and say, hey, we're going to make deep fights up and down the card.